Hello, everyone. I'm Sibyl Starr, and I'm here to give the astrology forecast for the Aries new moon solar eclipse, which occurs at 9 degrees of Aries. It's actually 9 degrees 0 minutes, so it's actually right at 9 degrees on March 29th here in the United States and on the West Coast, but on March 30th at some other places. So it's 29 30th. So here, the new moon occurs at 3:59 a.m. Pacific time, with the maximum fullness of the eclipse at 3:48 a.m. Pacific time. Now, this is what is called a deep partial solar eclipse because 93% of the sun is covered by the moon. So I'm sitting in front of a good image of the partial solar eclipse. So not all of it, but some of it, most of it will be covered. It will be visible in the Northeast United States, Eastern Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Europe, Russia, and Northwest Africa. Now, and a solar eclipse occurs, as you can see, when the moon comes in front of the sun. And as they say, the moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, but is 400 times closer to the earth. So it has that ability to actually cover the sun. And from my understanding, it is the only moon in our solar system that actually does this. So it adds a really mysterious quality to these eclipses. Okay. Um, Eclipses are known as harbingers of change, and because they change the electromagnetic field of the Earth, everything in our solar system is made of photons of the sun. And so when the light of the sun is eclipsed, it allows for more cosmic energy to enter into our field. And many, indigenous people and ancient cultures, they could feel the changes, the electromagnetic changes. And so they often went indoors or prayed or had different ways of what during this to work with the energy during this time when it was kind of, I would just call it like a wonky kind of an energy, just not right. But they are harbingers of change, and they bring what has been hidden to light. Often things that have been hidden come to light. Eclipses also often impact the weather. All right. Now, this is what is called a North Node lunar eclipse and is also in Aries. And so they both indicate new beginnings. So it's like a double energy to of new beginnings. So it's a really important time to set intentions for what you want to grow in your life and to know that its impact lasts up to 6 to 8 months. Okay. This Aries it impacts the signs Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn from 5 to 13 degrees. They're what most impacted. As and we have at this eclipse is very unusual. We have 5 points in Aries and we have 5 points in Pisces. And so it's like having 1 foot in the world of the invisible and 1 foot in the world of form. And our multidimensional selves will come into more awareness. Another way I like to look at this is, as they say, is when the end falls into the beginning. It's like when a leaf dies and falls off the tree. There is a loss, but it allows for more energy for new growth. So it's a time of letting go of the old, worn out ways of being so new growth can happen. Now I'm going to show you the chart. I'm going to show you the chart of this new moon. Okay. Let me get my share button here. All right. So here is the actual chart of the new moon. Like I said, it's on March 29th, 3:59 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. All right. But you'll just have to convert that to wherever you are. So here in Aries, we have got the sun and the moon both at 9 degrees, 0 minutes of Aries. We've got Mercury at zero Aries, which is called 0 point Aries, which is really important. This is the most important point in the zodiac where many planets are crossing over it and activating it right now. We have Chiron at 22 degrees of Aries, and we have Eris at 24 degrees of Aries. Now in Pisces, we've got Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces, at 29 degrees, 57 minutes. And the very next day, Neptune moves into Aries, but we've got Neptune conjunct Venus, conjunct the North Node, Saturn, and Ceres. All right. Now, the other really important, and we also have Uranus, which is in a sextile to all of these Pisces planets. It's here at 24 degrees of Taurus. Now, we also have the ruler of all of this Aries is Mars. Mars is very powerful. Mars is at 22 degrees of Cancer, and it's in a T square here with Chiron. Actually, Chiron and Eris, but I'm really pointing out Chiron because this is 22 degrees. They're exactly the same degree. That always adds some significance. And Chiron is opposite Black Moon Lilith here at 22 degrees of Libra. So we actually have a T square of Chiron opposite Black Moon Lilith and then squaring Mars. That's a really powerful um, aspect pattern. Okay. Now, Mars is also in a trine to Saturn, to the North Node, and a little wider trine, but still present with the Venus and Neptune, but really, really tightly trine Saturn in Pisces. All right. So there's other things going on, but I think these are the most important things for this new moon, and there's a lot here. All right. So, all right. So, where I want to begin though is with the Sabian symbol for this new moon because it's really a powerful one, especially, with it being a solar eclipse, things that are coming to light that have been hidden, and it's really lots of veils falling. So the Sabian symbol is, and for those of you who don't know what the Sabian symbols are, there was a psychic back in the 1930s named Elsie Wheeler who had a vision for every degree of the zodiac. And it often adds a deeper level of understanding of what it's about. So here it is. A seer gazes intently into a crystal ball in front of them. Some call it a crystal gazer. So I think what this is about, it is about an activation of our third eye or our pineal gland. It's a seer, it's clairvoyance, it's wanting to open that third eye to be able to see. The seer is using a tool, but the tool is to really to access their own wisdom and their own inner guidance and what they see and to connect with source. It represents intuition, imagination, limitless understanding, and the bridge between wisdom and understanding. We come to understand that what we imagine is the map of what will come to pass. As we do, we access all information in the cosmos. As we open our third eye, we access all information in the cosmos. And whether it comes in the form of visions or whether it comes in the form of insights, wisdom, a sudden understanding, reading between the lines, we get some new information, to help us move forward and to remember that we are co-creating the future. We don't really see the future because we are in the process of co-creating it. But what it can do with an open third eye, it allows us to have more direct access to source so that we can align with our soul plan and make those choices and decisions that align with it when we have that information. All right. Anyway, but let's go on now to the rest of the eclipse. So it's Aries, Aries 9 degrees. And so what is the Aries archetype? What is that basic energy pattern? Aries is the first sign, and it steps out of the void, out of the realm of the collective unconscious, into conscious awareness, into the I am consciousness, and claiming a right to exist, stepping out of the world of the formless unconscious into the world of form and self-awareness. Aries is an explorer of new frontiers. There is a strong life force energy for new beginnings and new growth. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, the spring equinox, which occurs at 0 Aries, is about new growth and new beginnings. Everything starts growing. Aries is about courage. And to have courage, one must face their fears. It's like fear must be present. So Aries says, you may be afraid, but do it anyway. Keep taking those steps. Aries is the archetype of the warrior and the protector. In indigenous culture, the warrior is a protector, protects those who cannot defend themselves. So it's protecting others and protecting ourselves, our own boundaries, where we say yes and where we say no. It is about our personal authority, our desire nature, what we want, and how we use our free will choice to get what we want. It's also Aries always brings up conflict because its polar opposite is Libra. And so it's that balance between self and other and the dance that we do. And Aries is the part that says, I am. Okay. And Aries requires a challenge to grow. And with both the sun and the moon in Aries, it's about leading with the heart. Now, the shadow of Aries is selfishness, making everything about me. It's all about me. Can be aggression. It's about assertiveness, but the shadow can move into aggression. And it could be also using one's will, being willful without consideration for others. Okay. All right, now the ruler of this Aries eclipse is Mars. Mars is in Cancer and is in, showed you, is in a T square with Chiron and Black Moon Lilith, all at 22 degrees. And Mars is also trine all of the Pisces points. So Mars has been a really big player over the last many months because Mars went retrograde on December 6th and in Leo and then moved back into Cancer and has been in Cancer for several months. Went direct on February 23rd at 17 Cancer, and he's now at 22 Cancer. And he's going to be moving back into Leo in April. Okay. But anyway, Mars in Cancer is very much about how we use our emotions. It's emotional fuel. And Cancer brings up safety and security issues. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So he always asks, who are my people and where do I belong? And so it can bring in conflict in our families. And we know it's really going on right now in a lot of families. So, and so in these times of great uncertainty and fear, our safety and security needs are activated. And it may show up with those that we are closest to. Because it is about protecting what we love, but can create a toxic tribalism. Cancer is very much about family, clan, our tribe, who are our people. But it can, like I said, when there's all this fear and uncertainty in the field, it can create a sense of belonging based together in anger or even hate, which is very much in the field, this toxic tribalism. And to know it can be poisonous to ourself and the collective. So it's so important to become aware of this and how we work with it. We know that it is a mama bear energy, that it does protect what we love, but it's not to let our fears take over. As they say, don't feed the fears. Okay. It's in a T square with Chiron in Aries and Black Moon Lilith in Libra. And Chiron in Aries, it can be a wound around one's personal identity and sovereignty. So it requires setting boundaries, saying no, having the courage to say, yes, this is what I want, and no, this is what I don't want. It's opposite Lilith in Libra. And Lilith brings up the shadow wherever she touches. She is our shadow, and she's like the dark moon. Okay, so the dark side of the moon. And so in Libra, there can be a wound around comparing oneself to others and wanting to be liked. So not sharing one's authentic self around a fear of being alone. Okay. Whereas Aries is very much about personal sovereignty, standing up saying, this is who I am, this is what I want. When we have a shadow of Libra, we may not do that out of fear of being alone. So, what it does, it creates a creative tension to try to find the balance between the two. It may feel like a power struggle, but that power struggle may ultimately result in a creative solution. So, the key is to as we own our stuff, is because our triggers may really be up right now, and to own our stuff and not project it, because when we own it, we can heal it, and then we can work with it in creative ways to find that place of conscious co-creation with opposites and bringing absolutely in relationship challenges in these times of great uncertainty and the dance that we do with others. Okay. And as I said, in the process, our triggers or unresolved wounds may come up. So we need to pay attention to what they are telling us about ourselves, because a trigger is like an alarm going off, like something isn't right, but what is it? And to go inside and see what it is. What needs do you have that are not being met? Okay. And so how do you go about meeting them? Yes. And like I said, most important is to own our projections. Emotions like anger are alerting us that our needs are not being met on some level. And when we own the emotion, we can then see how that need can be met within our lives, and can also use that very dynamic fuel of Mars to create necessary changes that need to be made. And ultimately, Mars is a catalyst. And like I said, the ruler of this eclipse, so is dynamically active in this pattern. And so it can be, I feel like another thing, that it's a time of breakthrough in the fear and control matrix. It is starting to become unwoven with tears to its fabrics. And I found this great quote. It didn't have an author, but I liked it. It said, "The matrix is not a cage built around you. It's a cage built within you. It's made of fear, conditioning, and the lies you've been told about who you should be. The moment you drop the illusion of should, the cage disappears and you step into freedom." This is a time of self-discovery. Aries is very much about self-discovery and letting go of the lies you've been told who you are, and really stepping into your true, authentic self. So what it is leading to is the freedom to be yourself, your authentic self. For that is what the world needs. Someone who is authentic and who is aligned with what they really need to become alive. It is someone who has come alive. And to do that, once again, don't feed the fears. All right. There's a trine to the points in Pisces, and all that water really cools some of that fire down. And so allowing yourself to trust your inner guidance and follow the flow, not try to control the flow, follow it. And to know that water flows around obstacles, not through them. Find the easiest way to go, not the hardest. And Mars is our direction in life. And people sometimes ask me, as they come for readings, what is my path? And I've really come to the awareness that your path is whatever lies in front of you. Wherever your feet are walking, that is your path. You may have to make choices along the way, but right now, Spirit is in charge. Listen to your heart and follow the energy. The goal is ultimately to align your free will choice with divine will, also known as your soul plan, and to really fire up that passion in your heart. Because, like I said, what the world needs is people who have come alive. All right. And I feel like that is a big point of what this Mars retrograde journey has been all about, is healing those places in our heart that keep us from living our true authentic life, and whatever is aligned with that fire, that passion, that flame within our heart. All right. Now, all these points in Pisces, a much different energy than the Aries. Okay. So the points in Pisces are Neptune, which is, of course, the ruler of Pisces, conjunct the North Node, which is the way forward, Venus, which is exalted in Pisces, Saturn, which struggles in Pisces, and Ceres, the great mother, who also likes to be in Pisces. So Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, with its ruler having been there for the last 13 years. We're going to have Pisces. Neptune is going to move into Aries on March 30th, be there for 5 months, come back into Pisces for a short time, then re-enter into Aries, where it will be for the next 14 years. But it's been in Pisces for the last 13 plus years. All right. And so what does it mean? It's about the collective unconscious and the connection to all that is. It is the remembrance that we have never left the source of all creation. It is about unity consciousness, which is the interconnectedness of all beings, and where in that field we are very sensitive to everything in the field, the suffering as well as the joy. It is the world of invisibility and the formless that holds infinite potential of what could be. It is also about endings. Pisces is the last sign, and during this time we could see lots of endings, and we're seeing lots of endings, lots of collapsing of different aspects of the paradigm in which we are living. And so we're asked to surrender and to let go of things that really no longer serve us personally or in the collective field. So it can be a time of loss. It can bring in some grief. The shadow side of this is illusion and delusion. Nothing is clear. We're really traveling in a fog and really need to really connect with that deep inner guidance that lives within us, our connection to source, or the fact, like I said, that we have never left the source of all creation, but bringing that into our conscious awareness. The shadow can be believing what we want to believe, living in a fantasy land, spiritual bypass. Those are all things. But it is a time of shifting realities and becoming more aware of our multidimensional selves. Now, the major conjunction of Neptune, Venus, and Saturn with the North Node in Pisces. Like I said, the North Node is the way forward. And so it's our North Star. You might just call it that. The North Node is the North Star. It's what guides us. Conjunct Saturn. I feel like what it is saying here is that consensus reality is changing. Saturn is consensus reality. It's what we all agree upon to be true. But that is changing, and really no one can agree because we're becoming more aware of not only our multidimensional selves, but our multidimensional experiences. Venus and Neptune together is so much about the unconditional love of the universe and showing us how we can impact the field of consciousness with love, even in the midst of chaos. Just taking a moment to breathe and open your heart. A friend of mine recently shared a really beautiful prayer that she says every day, and I've started saying it every day. It's a version of the Beauty Way, if you're familiar with that prayer, but she talks about love, peace, and light. And she says how she's shared it with me is, love above me, love below me, love in front of me, love behind me, love within me. And to just see myself in a big bubble of love. And in that, I include my community and all those that I love as I pray, and knowing that how so much of what this can do, that love can change the field, but also peace all around me, light all around me, truth all around me, whatever word you want to use and bring in. We can change the frequency around us. We are that powerful when we are aligned with love and not fear. All right. Venus retrograde. Venus is retrograde, and Venus is, let me see, not sure of the date. I think it's like April 12th at 24 degrees of Pisces. And Venus loves to be here. She's said to be exalted in Pisces. This is where human love becomes divine love and requires spiritual love to be part of the component. And it really can't be a low vibrational kind of an energy for it to work well. And with the goddess of love in Pisces, our love is all embracing. We are able to forgive and understand. It's a very compassionate love. They say compassion is the highest form of love. And to know there is actually much love coming into the field. We just have to let it in, open our hearts and let it in, even in the midst of the chaos of the breakdown that is happening all around us. Now, some of the shadows of Venus in Pisces is there can be a longing for something more, which is hard to satisfy because there is that desire to merge with the divine, and we're still here in a human body. So it's being able to do it in a human body, okay? And it's like being in a relationship of being in love with the divine and putting your partner on a pedestal. And when you put your partner on a pedestal, all they can do is fall off. So it's being able to love if knowing we're all divine and human. We're all perfect and imperfect. Venus in Pisces can bring blurred boundaries. And when retrograde, we may find ourselves falling into old patterns of victimization or rescuing, can bring in the victor savior axis. Also, old relationships from the past may show up from this lifetime or others with whom we have unfinished business. And it's a time to reassess, reevaluate your relationships with others, friends, and lovers. Um, and it may be time to let some relationships go. They are no longer in our resonant field. But it's also about self-love, and self-care is so important. We have Uranus in Taurus, which is sextile these Pisces points. And of course, Taurus is so much about hold your center and stay present in your body in these shifting realities. And Uranus in Taurus is really brings in the energetics of the body. And as the Schumann resonance of the earth peaks and then stills, we are experiencing vibrational resets and recalibrations, which can make us feel ungrounded, emotionally overwhelmed, or physically drained. You might have sudden mood swings, trouble focusing, disrupted sleep, or a sense that your body is holding tension or buzzing with energy. I'm certainly having all of that. So during this time, it is really important to take care of your body because to know as the ascension process of Mother Earth and as we align with her, our bodies are going with us. And so it's so important to take care of yourself. Well, for all reasons, not just because of the ascension process, but to drink plenty of water, prioritize rest, move your body gently, walk, stretch, breathe. Allow your emotions to move through you without overanalyzing them. You don't have to understand every emotion. Just let yourself feel it and let it move through you. If you feel raw, quiet, wired, creative, emotional, or uncertain, this is a sign that you are fully present with the shift. The earth is changing its frequency, and we are rising with it. Let the wave move through you. Your body knows how to adjust. Your energy knows how to integrate. Your spirit knows how to evolve. Our bodies are evolving as Mother Earth is evolving. Our bodies are changing as they hold more light. All right. Now we have Mercury, god of the mind. He's also retrograde. He went retrograde also at 9 Aries. He's now at 0 Aries for this eclipse, but later that day moves back into Pisces and is conjunct Neptune at 29 degrees, 59 minutes of Pisces. So right there on that Aries point, holding the end and the beginning. Okay. So Mercury at Aries point is a new beginning in the way we think and perceive the world and conscious co-creation. It is taking us back into the great cosmic sea and unity consciousness as it conjuncts with Neptune at 29 degrees, 59 minutes of Pisces, moving back into the womb of all possibilities as we dream a new world into being. But it can also be very confusing. as everything we have believed to be true is shifting, as we start to see the world and the cosmos from a different perspective. The realities are shifting right now. Nothing is like it used to be. It's shifting so that we can really shift into hyperspeed as we move into these new levels of consciousness. But the old is breaking apart. The point of the confusion is to become aware of the reality behind the illusion. Pisces is the illusion. We're stepping out into self-awareness. We are experiencing new frontiers in consciousness and our role in the conscious co-creation of our reality. Follow your inner guidance, and especially if important decisions need to be made. But if not clear, wait until the guidance is clearer. If you don't have to make a decision now, don't make it. Wait. Okay. All right. And then the really big and another really super big thing within 24 hours of this eclipse is Neptune enters Aries on March 30th. And I want to start with this symbol for 0 degrees Aries. We have so many planets moving over this point this year because, see, Mercury and Venus both went retrograde at 9 and 10 degrees of Aries, but in their backward motion, they cross over zero's point. Like it's 3 times, okay? And Neptune and Saturn both very they both move out of Pisces into Aries and then back again and then back again. So this 0 point is activated, let's see what, let's say six, uh well about 12 times. Oh no, 13 when we add the sun. Okay. That's a lot for 1 year. Anyway, so what is the Sabian symbol for 0 degrees Aries? It's called Aries point, and it's the beginning of everything. So a woman has risen out of the sea. A seal is embracing her. This is, to me, it's about the emergence out of the realm of potentiality into the realm of reality and form. This is the beginning of a whole new impulse, creative and responsive. And I feel like it's also a new level of the I am consciousness, which is a statement of self-awareness of a fundamental state of being which exists beyond the limitations of ego and external circumstance. It is a recognition of one's inherent presence and a connection to a deeper, unchanging reality. I feel like Neptune into Aries is bringing a new consciousness of self-awareness, which leads us into new frontiers of consciousness growth. We will become aware of the true reality behind the illusion as the veil falls and the fog lifts, and we are entering a gateway, or portal into new dimensions. This is truly a paradigm shift. Even though Neptune has been in Aries in the past, most recently during the Civil War, it is different this time because of where we are in the other astrological configurations. We've got Saturn and Neptune are going to be coming together in a conjunction in February of 2026, but they're traveling together in early degrees of Aries for about 5 months, giving new birth. Saturn is our consensus reality. Neptune is what lies beyond the veil. It is the true reality behind the illusion. And then, of course, we've got, Pluto in the early degrees of Aquarius, and in July, Uranus will move into Gemini. So it's the early degrees of the fire and air signs. It's kind of like blast off, kind of like really shipping into hyperspeed. So we are with Saturn, with Neptune and Aries, we are giving form to the dream. We are birthing a new reality and level of human consciousness at this time. We could envision it as though we're in the crowning of the birthing process and are beginning to see the light. Even though the full birth will not happen for a few years, we are entering a new reality and new frontiers of consciousness as we give birth to this new reality. It is a journey into the light in ways we have not experienced before. And during the 3 days of the dark moon, and that is when the most intense eclipse energy occurs. It is important to pray and set intentions for the coming 6 months as we birth a new human consciousness. All right. That's what I see. We're in very exciting times. Even though we see lots of breakdown, we're really on the verge of starting to give birth and starting to see the new reality. So, wishing you all a wonderful 2 weeks. I'll be back again in 2 weeks with the next full moon video. And if you're interested in a reading, all my contact information is in the description box. If you like this video, please check like and subscribe. And blessings and namaste to all.